What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hala Madrid TV. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about that big transfer from Real Madrid to Arsenal, Martin Odegaard. I don't even know where to begin with this one, guys. How does Odegaard make the same mistake Mesut Ozil made back in 2013? Like, did he not watch and see what happens to talented left-footed players when they go to Arsenal? Did Odegaard not notice that talented left-footed players that was at Arsenal, aka Van Persie, made their way out of Arsenal? I don't at this point, no disrespect to Arsenal, but I still don't understand why players even find it interesting or even look at it as something successful to play for Arsenal. I mean, no disrespect to being a pro player, you should feel some type of pleasure, not even some type, but you should feel a lot of pleasure because that's your passion for signing for any professional team. But when you look at Arsenal over the past couple of years, it's just nowhere near good enough for world class players. That team, that club, has been nowhere near the Arsenal we know them to be. They're nowhere near the Arsenal that was winning that many Premier League trophies and put fear in teams across Europe. Arsenal don't do that nowhere even close now. They're not nowhere near the team they once were. So the fact that Odegaard would leave Madrid to go there, and I understand that he wants to play. That's no problem. Like, we all want to see you play. You're a talented player. But do we want to see you play at Arsenal, though? That's the question. Do you want to see yourself play at Arsenal, Odegaard? How did you end up there? There's so many questions about this move that it makes me just think Zidane has lost the youngsters. Like, it makes me think the youngsters have no faith in Zidane and they just want to get out of the club and go anywhere they could play. Because moving from Madrid to Arsenal just in the because you want to play more games, I think Ozil all showed us that that is just not a smart move. It's just not, unless you got the type of love Ozil has to be, benched and disrespected by the club you basically gave your all to, and still love it. You still can get up every day and show love to that club. If you don't have that type of love in your heart, I don't think Arsenal is the team you want to be at. And then when you look at the Arsenal board too, on top of it, from the owner to the manager to how the club is being run to the money they can put out, it is a loan, but I think it's a bad loan on Odegaard's part. I just don't think Arsenal is a club right now where if you're not 100% committed to that team, I don't think that's the club you should be trying to get yourself into, because they have a lot to be fixed and solved. And you just putting yourself in that mix-up or in the troubles they're going through, it doesn't seem like a smart option for any football player right now, much less a good, talented one like Martin Odegaard. He was better off going back to Sociedad or fighting for his game in Madrid. Like, whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to being a talented young player, but you know you're not good enough to start in a team? So rather than quitting, you actually work your ass off, train hard every day, and try to be that good to earn a starting role in said team. It seems like we live now in a generation where players don't do that anywhere near as much as they usually do. It seems completely gone. It seems like as soon as you have a talented young player and he's in a team for too long that he realizes he's talented, but there's other players there that's better than him, he just leaves. There's no, I'm going to work hard and stick it through. I think Isco did that with Madrid. You could say that for Isco. I remember him saying a couple times in interviews that if he's not starting under 2-3 different coaches, obviously he's the problem. And he worked his way from 2014. Isco didn't start starting in Madrid's team until, like, we could say around he started starting consistently around 2017. That year we won La Liga and the Champions League, the back-to-back year. That's around the year Isco really started to start consistently in Madrid's team, and he worked his way up into that team. Arguably now, because of injuries, he's back out of the team, but at least he fought and earned that spot. It seems like now we live in an era where players don't want to do that anymore. Everybody's so complacent. The moment a player gets signed, they get so comfortable. Certain players just don't even look as good as they used to be when they just started. Some players started so talented and they're nowhere near as good as we thought they would be because of the lack of drive. It seems like most players these days just don't have the drive that Messi or a Ronaldo has, where they want to be the best every time they step on the field. So many players these days lack that drive, and there's a lot of talented players out there, especially young players. There's a lot of talented young players out there that at Messi and Ronaldo at their age, they could have been the next Messi and Ronaldo right now, is what I'm trying to say, because they're so talented at their age. A lot of them could have been better, like the Jadon Sanchos, the Mbappes, the Erling Haalands. A lot of these players, I feel personally, make bad career decisions regarding to where they're gonna play and the type of game time they're gonna get and how hard they work to get game time, how hard they work every time they step on the field. For a lot of these players, it seems like the moment they get signed and some money gets in, it's just now pictures and social media and partying and endorsement and brands. It's now less about training hard to earn your spot in a team. And I feel like that is what Odegaard is missing, why he left Madrid. Arguably, he wasn't playing at all, really, because Zidane had him on the bench. But I think Zidane is a great player and a great coach. If you were working hard enough for the team, both defensively and attackingly, I think Zidane would play you. And it's definitely due to the fact that Odegaard is not playing as well as Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. Well, he doesn't play the role of a Casemiro. He can't defend like Casemiro. He's nowhere near the position Casemiro plays. He's basically a completely different player, a CAM to a center defensive midfielder. But if you look at Casemiro, it's just the work rate he puts in. Why? Not to say he isn't a fantastic footballer, because he is. But when you look at Casemiro, it's more about the work rate he puts in consistently, why he's so well chosen as a football player. Why he always starts for Brazil. He always starts for Real Madrid. When he went on loan to Porto as a youngster, they always wanted him starting. He's starting big games versus Bayern Munich when he was at Porto as a youngster. And it's because the drive he gives you. He is a talented football player, but he just never gives up. I think it's things like that why Odegaard isn't in Madrid's team, because he's a fantastic passer. He's a fantastic technical player, good with the ball of his feet. He can do all of that. Attacking wise, he's really that nice. But does he work as hard as Real Madrid needs right now? Because obviously Madrid needs people in the middle of the park, especially that will keep running. And that's where I feel like Odegaard is not being chosen by Zidane. That's where Zidane is definitely making up his mind that I can't play him, because yes, he's talented. Yes, he's bringing a little flair. Yes, he's bringing a little creation. But every other team in La Liga is really attacking well these days. They're really defending well and attacking well. Every team worldwide, really. Small teams to the top one. So you got to keep that work rate up. You got to keep working. And Odegaard's defensive work rate is so poor, I think that's where he loses out. Overall, I do think it was a bad idea to go to Arsenal. Even though I understand why he would, because I would want to leave and play for another team too. So I understand why he would leave to go play for another team. But the decision to go to play for Arsenal under the bad running. Let's say to call it the running. They're not being ran by right now properly. That club needs a lot of work from the top to bottom. And you should, if you're gonna go on loan, you should potentially go on loan somewhere where it's not gonna hinder your career. It's not gonna hurt your career. It's not gonna put your career off, basically, because Arsenal right now is rebuilding, and Odegaard is such a talented player. He should be going on teams where they'll at least surround him with the players he needs, or at least focus on him, take his needs into account as a footballer. And I don't think that Arsenal is in a position to do that right now, especially because they have other young players coming through. That Saka, just to throw one out there, who they could actually surround their team around. And they're going to look at it that Odegaard isn't committed to Arsenal. So they might not even treat him as well as he might think he's going to get treated over there. So overall, when you add all of that up, the troubles Arsenal are going through, the directions they're facing, and how young and talented Odegaard is, nothing about this loan move makes sense to me personally, and I don't think it should make sense to Odegaard, because Arsenal is just not a team where your career can really progress. He was better off going back to Sociedad. But that's just what I think about the Martin Odegaard loan to Arsenal. I want to hear what all of you think in the comments. So blow up the like button, subscribe, and leave in the comments what you think about Odegaard going on loan to Arsenal. And I also want Arsenal fans to let me know what they think about getting a player like Martin Odegaard on loan to their team. Do y'all think Odegaard will help? Do you think he's a good signing? Or do you agree with me in saying that's not the move Arsenal should have made right now? Neither was it the move Odegaard should have made. Thanks for your time. Like, subscribe. Be back every Monday and Thursday for more.